These are my top tips for successful window dressing. Try to apply the 4 VM key principles to your compositions. These could be symmetrical, which is the pyramid, asymmetrical, which is our half pyramid, repetition, which is utilising the principle of odd numbers. In particular, groups of 3, odd numbers, and alternation, anything which is creating a kind of alternating pattern for our customer. The symmetrical pyramid, the principle here works particularly well because the pyramid helps to elevate height. So consider the top of the pyramid at the eye line level of your customer. Make sure that whatever you're placing at the top of the pyramid, that's your focal point. That's the first area that the customer is going to look at as they look at the composition in the window. Make sure it's a product of importance. So if there's any products that you would like to highlight or push to the customer, it could be a brand, could be a product, could be a promotion, make sure that it's positioned at that point. So the asymmetrical is a half pyramid. A really popular composition. I learned how to dress asymmetrically at Harrods. That's a very typical way of us comprising and composing groups of product. It's a way of giving theatre, particularly I would say for 3D products too. So if you're using and you're selling product like food or homeware or accessories, a great way to be able to add more theatre to your product. So the asymmetrical is a half pyramid. The top of the pyramid, very similar to the symmetrical pyramid, should more or less be at the top of your customer's eye line level for the window. So as the customer is walking past the window, you're going to engage them at the eye line level. And we will also position a product or a brand that we want to highlight at this point, very similar to the symmetrical pyramid. So have a think about what products and what brands you would like to highlight at the top of the pyramid. So I just kind of sort of gesture that the top of the pyramid is the most important point. And the principle here is that you're creating a really strong graduation which takes our eye from the top of the pyramid, from that main focal point, and it's helping to graduate our customer's eye through that composition. It's also quite helpful to be able to create that as a sort of pointer to the customer too, so the customer's eye will always follow the graduation of height. So usually on asymmetrical, typically we tend to see it kind of graduating from the left to the right, but you can also have a think about whereabouts your entrance is from your shop window. So for example, if your entrance into your store is on the left hand side of the window, you will need to take your asymmetrical pyramid the other way. So we'll be taking the height on the right hand side and graduating it towards the left. So it always helps to create that kind of strong graduation to be able to obviously flow the customer's eye towards an area of interest, which is obviously to the entrance of your store. Asymmetrical, as I said earlier, is really helpful to be able to use with 3D products, particularly when you want to give a bit more theatre to 3D products that could be packaged, you know. So think about, is it possible for you to take products out of their packaging? Can you lay them on the side? Can you angle them? You know, just to be able to create a bit more theatre and slightly more interest with that product range. Repetition is the use of odd quantities of product and mannequins or graphics in the window, typically we work with quantities of 3, and we work with 3s because we always create a central focal point for the eye of the customer, and all of this point in the middle helps to frame our eye onto the central focal point, which then frames the eye either side. And it's interesting that obviously typically lots of our principles in window dressing and in-store compositions work around pyramid groups. So we have the 3 points of the pyramid. So using odd numbers, particularly 3s, is really common, and it seems to be really pleasing on the eye, and it helps to take the customer's eye into the middle on the focal point. So for example, if you've got 3 mannequins in the window, or you've got 3 podiums in the window with 3 products on, make sure that whatever is dressed, say on the central mannequin, on the central podium, make sure that is the product that you would like to showcase to the customer first, because typically they will look at the point in the middle first before looking at the points either side. So just make sure you're focusing upon the product that you would like to highlight first in the middle. Then finally, we've got alternation. So alternation is alternating colours, it could be alternating patterns. Any of those principles seem to create this pattern for the eye of the customer, a pattern for us to help our eye flow through that composition. I tend to use it quite a lot in store too, also with e-commerce retail, and I'll be talking more later on in my short videos about how you can apply that. So alternation is also one to be aware of in the window. Have a think about creating alternating patterns and alternating use of colour.